This made me Welcome to my small world. It's 6 by 2 meters, and also where my journey begins. So let me explain how I ended up here, why I'm living like this in this small space 24/7, 7 days a week. My name is Jaison, and this is my story. A few years ago, my life looked stable. I had a professional job, steady income, savings, structure, and I was building a future with my ex-husband. Around that time, I bought myself a car on finance for my 30th birthday. It wasn't just a luxury, it was freedom, safety, and independence, especially after almost being kidnapped one sunrise on my way to work. Public transport no longer felt safe for me as a woman, especially in the area I lived in, where robberies were common. Then, 7 months after I got my car, COVID happened. Our salaries were reduced and we were told to either accept it or face a retrenchment. And I just financed my car, so I had no choice. I accepted the cut, believed things would eventually return to normal. But even after COVID ended and the business improved, our salaries never recovered. I begged my boss multiple times, oh my gosh, explaining my situation, but nothing changed. Meanwhile, life didn't slow down. I still had car payments, rent at my ex-in-laws, food, electricity, bills, and responsibilities for both myself and my marriage. I started relying on credit just to survive. I maxed out my savings, my credit card, and even took out a loan to invest in a business I was so passionate in at the time. Also as a substitute for the salary cut. The business made money fast, but it didn't go towards the loan, my savings, or the credit card, but towards what my ex promised to cover. At the same time, my marriage was falling apart. Financial stress played a big role, but it wasn't the only reason. Oh my gosh, it wasn't. There were deeper issues after marriage that became impossible to ignore. I communicated effectively. I gave alternatives. I gave ultimatums. It just was never respected or taken seriously. I tried to fix things. But over time, the relationship became more and more toxic and emotionally unhealthy, even though from the outside everything looked perfect. Oh shit, dude. Eventually, I realized I had two choices: stay and continue to suffer, or leave and choose myself. I loved him, but love alone wasn't enough anymore. My vessel and health chose for me. So I walked away from my marriage and cut the cord.
I am nervous. I'm on my way to get a divorce. I cleaned out my cupboard. I left him a little note. In this place, forever grateful, forever thankful. But I need to move on with my life. I can't. I'm done.
And while going through one of the most soul-crushing moments of my life, everything became even more unstable. I reached out to people I thought would support me, especially when they knew I had nowhere to go. But the support I needed wasn't there when I asked. Finally, after I asked, and I never really asked for help before, this was literally the only time. Things got heated from every direction, and I decided I needed to flee. I needed to go. I needed to leave immediately. This became very tense and it got heated. And I felt extremely unsafe where I was, and I had to flee. And that's how I became homeless. I was homeless. I stayed in a shelter. Then after the shelter, on 3 strangers' couches. Still working, still surviving, still building a future while carrying thousands in debt from the marriage that I left behind. Even through it all, I stayed positive. I was just so grateful to be safe, even though deep down I didn't feel fully safe at all. Prayer, meditation, grounding myself spiritually and mentally became my anchor. Not too much, but just enough body. We're going to do a couple of somatic movements, and we're going to do some Pilates and just some exercises that tackles the certain areas. I didn't always look like this. If you look here on the side, let me see if I can put a photo on aside, eating bad, not taking care of my body, also trauma. Trauma and stress has a lot to do with this area. Let's get started. So you can do this at home, you can do it in the gym, you can do it on the floor, you can do it on your... At the same time, I was building a business I genuinely loved. It had so much potential and was growing because of the time and energy I poured into it. But it still wasn't stable enough to fully carry me financially. Trying to balance a professional job, a business, and survival and homelessness all at once was a different kind of pressure. The strange part was, on the outside, I still looked put together. I dressed neatly, I still had my car, I still met clients, I looked successful. I still look extremely successful. People didn't see me renting cheap single night rooms just to sleep in a bed to soothe my body aches from sleeping on couches. Or having a proper bath, just to have a bath. I rented like 1 day cheap, like single night rooms just to sleep and just to stretch and just to soothe my body with a bath, like an Epsom salt bath. They didn't see me wash my hair at swimming pools. My image made everything look far more glamorous than it really was. And trying to explain my reality while still maintaining professionalism was extremely exhausting. And this experience taught me a lot about people. Some people were kind at first, but over time I noticed shifts, conditional support, changed energy, promises not followed through on. Sometimes it felt like I was only welcomed when I seemed useful in some way. Some people made commitments without even thinking things through, leaving me to deal with the flippant consequences. And because I handled everything with so much calmness and positivity, I think people misunderstood me. That mismatch between how I looked and handled the situation I was in and what I was actually going through created a very, very, very strange dynamic. Because most people in my situation that I would, somebody that would be in a situation like mine would have crashed. And I got judged and misperceived for this. I realized that my presence alone sometimes brought things up in people.
But being pretty and funny,
not because
and
I was trying to intimidate anyone, but
and
Because
kind-hearted and
even
insightful,
while everything around me
and
was
mentally and
unstable,
emotionally aware,
I was still
and
showing
grateful for
up,
things in
still
life,
pushing
and
forward,
know how to
still
treat the people
staying
around
positive.
you, and have a fat ass. Blessings.
Most people expected me to completely fall apart, but I stayed grounded, aware, and in flow as much as I could. Of course, there were tears. My vessel is still human. I have emotions. I'm a flippin' female, for goodness sake. I allowed myself to feel and release, for goodness sake. This journey reflected so much back to me. Jealousy, envy, conditional love, false loyalty, words without action, wolves in sheep flippins clothing. It also showed me my own resilience. Eventually, even after 7 years with my company, I knew my job wasn't secure because of the way my ex-boss was treating me. Eventually, I reached a point where I couldn't afford transport to work for a week and a half only because I was staying too far away from the last couch I was sleeping on. I didn't have the budget. I couldn't. I told my boss everything. I told him, I begged him, I told him everything. I was extremely open and honest with my boss to what was going on and where I was. But yeah, a boss is a boss, eh?
Pulse when it contracts, which it radiates into surrounding space. Point 2. All living cells and chemical processes rely on electromagnetic interactions between molecules, responsible for the making and breaking of chemical bonds, the release of energy from food, the production of cellular energy and the transport of minerals, nutrients, hormones, neurotransmitters, and neuropeptides across cell membranes. Just as we use electromagnetic frequencies to communicate with one another via radio, the internet, or by telephone, electric and magnetic fields generated by our body's tissues and organs are part of its own complex and rapid internal communication system. When those electromagnetic frequencies are insufficient or disrupted, illness can occur. From the interaction of the magnetic fields within us and around us. Our body is our personal computer, linked with the living computer that is the universe. The Earth's magnetic field fluctuates when the electrical charges from clouds and the surface of the Earth build to generate lightning, which occurs about 200 times every second. Normal rhythms were restored when they were exposed to a weak electromagnetic field of 10 Hz, which mimicked the Earth's field. 11 studies demonstrate the effectiveness of pulsed magnetic field therapy using 10 Hz and other frequencies in the treatment of pain, bone fractures, sprains, Alzheimer's disease, venous insufficiency, epilepsy, and depression. 12. One part of our body that is particularly sensitive to magnetic fields is the pineal gland, located in the center of the brain. Between 20 to 30% of pineal cells are magnetically sensitive, and they can respond to magnetic field changes with fluctuations in the production of melatonin, which helps to regulate body rhythms. 13. Geopathic stress refers to external electromagnetic energy generated by the Earth itself or by artificially produced fields, such as those coming from cell phone towers, hydro lines, or underground subways, that disturb the frequencies directing the body's cellular processes, and may contribute to chronic illness.
After years of loyalty, I lost my job simply because I didn't have money to get there. Not because of competency, not because of anything, not because I didn't do my job, just because I didn't have the flippin' money to get there, man. And that moment changed everything. I've put all of my energy into my business while trying to rebuild my life. But the pressure, oh my word, the pressure became so unbearable. The constant instability.
Especially in this area, the walking street area is very famous for the night, for very specific purposes, as you can imagine. But at least there's a thin line between prostitution and prostitution.
Being accompanied home by the Child Protection Group. Very convincing. You're still paying.
Maybe you could pay half. He goes, that would be great.
It's so embarrassing that it was close to $300,000.
$1,080,700.
The rise of romance scams and our increasing ease with online dating go hand in hand.
One thing that really kept me going, really kept me going and sane, was my dancing.
Oh my gosh.
If you want people to feel like your friend, film like this. If you want people to feel like you're on a FaceTime call, why don't we go talk and live your head?
Pressure to leave where I was staying, not knowing where I would sleep next. Oh my word, planning which bridge or tent would protect me during the winter. And that is where my body and my mind finally shut down. The trauma responses hit hard, The emotions just became so uncontrollable. And I couldn't focus or function normally anymore. Finally, cptsd arrived. Even after all I went through and stayed strong, I had no control over it this time. I had to surrender and allow myself to feel everything. And because of that, I had to step away from my business too. While staying with a stranger who constantly pressured me to leave, I tried interviewing for 3 different jobs. But imagine trying to sell yourself while suffering from cptsd and severe instability. I failed all 3 of them. It felt like everything I had built just disappeared overnight. That's actually where my nervous system healing journey began. Not as a trend, but because I genuinely needed to function again. Eventually, I reached out to my family one more time, and thankfully, I was able to return to a stable environment. And that's where I am now. Outside of the house though, in this space. But finally somewhere safe enough to breathe, regulate and recover in peace. Oh my goodness. And during this time, I've let go of everything connected to my old life. The 9-to-5 mindset, the system, the people, the identity, even my car. I disappeared. I died and rebirthed once again.
had a mental breakdown. I only have a week. I need to be out of here, man. I'm not gonna fucking miss you when I'm gone. I'm gonna miss you.
This time I'm starting on a stronger foundation. Me and God, grounded in trust, detached from any outcome. This series is my rebuild. And through all of this, I've learned so much about human behavior, survival, trauma, healing, loyalty, and myself. Since birth, I've experienced all kinds of trauma and hardship. So, in a strange way, this experience never really stood a chance against me. I always kept reminding myself of that. Because even though through everything I kept going, I kept building, I kept trying, and I still am. Honestly, I am grateful for this chapter. Even the painful parts taught me lessons I'll carry forever. Some people were blessings, others were lessons, but all of it I have transmuted into experience. And somehow, instead of breaking me, it revealed something even more powerful in me. A fire most people don't have. And I am so flippin' proud of that. The hardest part was always the instability. Because once I had a stable place again, everything slowly started returning to normal. I regulated my nervous system. I started thinking clearly again, and I began to ask myself, what kind of life do I actually want to build? I tried different things online. All of them worked, but they just didn't feel aligned. And I also didn't see any longevity in them. I realized I don't want to build something fake or for attention. I want to build something real, something meaningful, something that actually helps people. And then it clicked. Why not document the journey? Because I've already been documenting everything privately. The rebuild, the healing, the highs, the lows, the me leaving my ex-husband. So instead of hiding it and keeping it to myself as memory, I decided to share it. Not perfectly, not polished, just honestly. I'm excited to see where this journey takes me, because I've been through a lot. And now I'm using everything I've learned and everything I have left from my last life that I've kept. Not just to rebuild my life, but to create something meaningful from it. So this is episode 1. Just me documenting the process. And maybe somewhere along the way, it will help someone else too.